This is Casey Banks, and you're watching Brand Ambassadors Expansion of an Organization's Brand Through the CEO's Use of Twitter, a presentation and textual analysis that I did for my Com 610 class at Queen's University. First, let's start by discussing what is a brand. A brand is very important for an organization because it's the link between the public and the company. Thus, it's crucial to portray clear and consistent messaging and imagery. Scholars Simon and Hawkins suggest that a company's brand is often nearly as valuable as the products or services that they offer. Social media has fundamentally changed the way businesses market and portray their brands. Judson, DeVasium, and Bath proclaimed that social media is now viewed as the glue that holds together an organization's marketing campaign because it touches across each promotional medium. In essence, we have shifted from being merely content consumers to being content creators. I suggest that CEOs have the ability to be powerful content creators for their organizations, particularly in the Twitterverse. The Twitterverse. What am I talking about? Well, it's the universe of Twitter, of course. www.twitter.com. Here's some up-to-date stats on the site. There are currently 241 million monthly active users on Twitter, 500 million tweets sent per day, and 77% of account holders are located outside of the U.S., giving organizations the ability to go global. So now to the heart of this presentation. How can Twitter benefit a CEO and their organization? I am suggesting that two things are true. First, a CEO can increase internal brand ambassadors through increased employee morale and engagement. Second, a CEO can increase external brand ambassadors, individuals, customers, and the media who have the ability to shape conversations. I am suggesting that both of these things are true when a CEO uses Twitter. Let's start internally. Employees have the potential to be the biggest advocates for a brand. I'm going to take a look at this in the context of the human relations theory. The human relations approach emphasizes the interpersonal and social needs of individuals. It assumes that all people want to feel united, tied, bound to something, some cause bigger than they, and that managers need to be good communicators and sometimes persuaders. Why is human relations important? Well, we know that positive employee morale fosters productivity. I am also suggesting that when an employee feels a direct connection to their CEO, they are more likely to be a brand ambassador for the agency. Our first as seen on Twitter. This comes from @YoungGunCEO, who is the CEO of the South Carolina Campaign to Prevent Teen Pregnancy. He says, proud of all the work that @TellThemSC, @SC Campaign, and others have put into the Reform Sex Ed movement. One hurdle down, on to the next. A second tweet from him says, good luck on the half marathon, and then, well done. Big congrats to you. He is utilizing Twitter to congratulate his employees for both things that they are accomplishing in the office as well as things outside of the office. So he's understanding that his employees are more than just what they bring to the company. They are people outside of the organization, and he's paying attention to that. But do his employees see what he is doing and make note of it? Well, one employee at Upstate SC says, love when @YoungGunCEO comes to town and leaves I am tripping in me with brains full, hearts full, and bellies full. They are noticing, and they are taking note that he is paying attention to them. So what are the results? In return, we've seen increased retweets by employees and increased mentions by employees who are talking about @YoungGunCEO in the Twitterverse as well. The employees are engaging through social media and now have a common bond with the CEO that extends past Twitter. They now feel the special bond with him and feel a little bit closer to him as a person. They feel important, and if they do feel important, that increased attention will lead to increased productivity within the company, as we mentioned earlier. So the first reason for a CEO to embrace social media is the ability to increase employee morale, thus building brand ambassadors for the agency. Let's now shift and discuss external brand ambassadors. CEOs have the ability to build the brand organically, engage with customers, and educate stakeholders. I'm going to analyze this with Burke's theory of identification in mind. His theory of identification says that actions consist of purposeful, voluntary behaviors, that only human beings have action, and identification is defined as symbols that bring people together in a common way of understanding. Why is identification important in this project? Well, I am suggesting that Twitter creates commonality between the company and its constituents. And that's exactly what identification is. It creates commonality between the company and its constituents. Our second as seen on Twitter, Richard Branson, who's the CEO of Virgin Mobile, posted, "Each at Virgin Company is working as hard as they can to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions." The outcome of this tweet, within 48 hours, mind you, was that the post was retweeted 64 times and received 138 favorites by followers. And the link that you clicked on from the tweet was shared 106 times on Facebook, 600 times on Twitter, 578 times on Google+, and 61 times via an alternate format. Perhaps the number one reason for CEOs to embrace social media is the ability to go viral and spread their messages about their organization. Our third, as seen on Twitter, Peter Asito, CEO of ING Direct Canada. His Twitter account includes photos of employees, quotes about leadership, information on ING, and inspiring quotes about life in general. Peter has learned the art of balancing company specifics with thoughts and ideas, making his voice authentic in the Twitterverse. As a result, he has more than 14,000 followers on Twitter. That's 14,000 people who are more familiar with the ING brand and who may potentially open accounts with the company because of their social relationship with its CEO. So, the third reason for a CEO to embrace social media is to build their audience. The more people they can reach, the greater impact for their company. So what? What does all of this mean? I know that many CEOs are afraid to relinquish control to consumers, which a company ultimately does on social media outlets. But my findings give a CEO reasons to ignore the fear factor. According to Bain.com, customers who engage with brands are significantly more likely to recommend brands to family and friends. Also, in terms of loyalty, those customers spend 20 to 40% more than customers who are not engaged. So, CEOs, it's time to head to Twitter. Here are the references from my presentation in case you want to find out more information. Thanks for being here with me today.